So hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I thought I'd just do a quick video, especially for the newer people to my channel, as to sort of the history of what's gone on with my knee. If you've been on my Instagram recently, you'll notice that I've been doing a bit of knee rehab and you may be wondering why. So I'm going to do this video and tell you all about the history of my knee. So I guess the best place to start is obviously timeline wise the very first injury that I had, which was when I was 19. It was in March 2016. I was playing football. I was having quite a good game, to be fair to myself, and in the second half of this game I pushed the ball down the line and this lad's lunged in with a slide tackle and basically put all his weight like scissored around my knee. I didn't hear a click or clunk or anything like that, but I went down on the floor and it was the worst pain I've ever felt in my life, and I couldn't straighten or bend my leg properly. My dad was actually watching the game and he used to play like professionally, and I also saw it, like I was lying on the floor and I just saw him slowly walk around the pitch, and he came over to me and he was like, "Come on, just get up, like you're fine, like straighten it off, like bend it, move it." I was like, "Dad, I cannot move my leg." And at that time at 19, I didn't go get it checked. Basically I had 2 weeks off football because the week after the game got waterlogged, so it was called off, and I went back and played 2 weeks later. And then we basically had, because we had a backlog of games because the weather was so bad during the winter, we had a backlog of games of 10 games in 20 days. Like we had to finish the season at a certain date, and I played every single minute of those 10 games. So we were basically playing, I think it was Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, like for like a solid like 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And yeah, played every single minute. I had another issue in one of the games where in the very last kick of the game I went to stop a ball going down the line and sort of jarred it in the floor and twisted it again. And then didn't really have any issues with it after that. And then the one that some of the sort of OGs of my Instagram, like old followers, will probably remember, just over 2 years ago. So it was the first game after Christmas in January 2019, playing football. I was 22 at this time. Very first minute of the game, the balls came across the box and I'd gone to volley the ball, like it was quite high up, and so it was no contact on this one. And we play on 4G, which is like the artificial grass. And I've planted my right leg, gone to volley the ball, and my weight has just gone straight through my knee, and I heard this horrible crunch. Made me feel a bit sick, and I was like, oh, I'll probably be able to run it off. I've probably just like twisted it or something like that. And I played the full 90 minutes, which was probably quite stupid. But basically I think why it happened was because there's no give in the artificial grass, whereas if you were playing on grass, your ankle would like pivot in the grass, in the mud. And yeah, so I played the full game that sort of hobbled round, and then straight after it and the day after, my knee literally just swelled up like, yeah, so my knee basically swelled up to the same size as like the bottom of my thigh. It was all like one thickness. You couldn't see my kneecap, and every time I moved it or walked, it literally felt like there was shards of glass in my knee, just like scraping. It was minging, like I could barely walk for about 2 weeks. And then I went on holiday to Berlin and it was absolutely freezing. It was like -2 every day, and we did a lot of walking around Berlin, which was not ideal, but it did help the swelling go down a little bit and get some movement back in my knee. With that one, I went straight with Bupa through work, so I was dead lucky on this one. So I got Bupa with work and it went live on the 1st of January 2019, and I tore my ACL completely on the 5th. So basically I went through Bupa, and literally within the space of 10 days to 2 weeks, I'd been for a consultation, had an MRI scan and got the results. So the MRI said it was a complete rupture of my ACL, and luckily because I had so much mass, like muscle mass on my leg, especially my hamstrings, they said it might be okay, like you might be able to cope without it. I was then meant to go on rehab for that and couldn't at the time because I was working between 2 jobs and I never really knew when I was going to be finishing work, so I couldn't really commit to booking time in, which I probably should have done. And then I basically rehabbed myself. I borrowed, like one of the booty bands, the Gracefit UK ones, and that's how I ended up working with them a couple of years back. And I did a lot of rehab myself through YouTube videos and things like that, stretching, workouts, this, that and the other. And then so this happened on the 5th of Jan. On the 16th of February, I said I was okay to play football again, which I probably shouldn't have done. Came on in like the last 5 or 10 minutes of the game and scored the winner. Ran through and went round the keeper and scored. Yeah, shouldn't have done that, but ever since that I'd not had a single issue with it whatsoever. And then comes my latest injury, which was this year, which probably most of you will have seen me talking about. And it was the first game that we were allowed to play back after this lockdown, so it was the 3rd of April. We were having like a inter-club friendly, so obviously I'm now 25. So this was basically over a period of like 5 and a bit years, and yeah, so I've jumped up for a header. It's about 20 minutes into the game, jumped up for a header, won the header, and then landed and then tried to sprint straight away, and basically what's happened is called a pivot shift. And so like imagine this is like your knee bones basically caved in and done that and like hit each other. They reckon I bruised my bone and maybe pinched like a bit of the ligament on the outside. So again, went straight through Bupa. They didn't send me for an MRI, which I was a bit, I thought they were going to send me for one, I'm not going to lie. But the specialist said, because you've not had an issue for like the last 2.5 years, we'll put you through the rehab. And that's how I've ended up going for rehab with Andy at Harrison Ross Physio. Managed to dodge the bullet for the second time, but whilst I was there with the specialist, I actually asked, I said, I just want to make sure like if I completely tore my ACL, and he said, oh yeah. He said on the notes here, it says there wasn't much of it left anyway, and that's obviously from the first injury when I was 19 that I didn't get checked. So I basically partially tore my ACL when I was 19, completely tore it at 22, and then had a pivot shift at 25, and yeah, that's where I'm up to. I'm just happy that I've not had to have the operation, because when it happened, it was like the same noise and feel as when I did my ACL, but then the days after weren't as bad. I went on crutches for a couple of days just because I was like putting my back out from like walking with a funny limp and that. So yeah, I haven't had an issue since the swelling's gone down. Since the swelling's gone down, there's been no pain, and all the workouts. So as you know, I've been doing leg workouts every other day. Seen Andy now 3 times. I asked him, like, I had my last physio yesterday, which was Friday the 21st of May. I just asked him like, when am I going to be able to like run again? When will I be able to play football? And they do it on a criteria basis. So it's basically a tick list of things that I need to achieve before I can go back to playing. But he reckons with the progress that I'm making at the moment, I should be able to run in 3 weeks, and potentially looking at playing football in 7 to 8, which I'm more than happy with. But like I say, if he turned around and went, oh, it's going to be about 12 weeks, then it's 12 weeks. I want to get it properly rehabbed so I don't have an issue with it ever again. So yeah, that is the wonderful history of my knee, and I'm sure it's been really entertaining to listen to, especially with me just sat in the kitchen. But yeah, if you want to keep up like on a more day-to-day basis with my knee sort of rehab process, then make sure you follow me on Instagram. The link is in the caption, bio, whatever you want to call it, below. So yeah, follow me on Instagram. It's GW_fit. Very simple, very easy to type in. And yeah, keep an eye on these videos, because obviously I've got a playlist for my knee rehab videos. I will be trying to post as much on there as I can. But yeah. So yeah, I'm going to wrap this quick video up here. If you've enjoyed it, make sure you drop it a like. If you are new, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.